Let me do something here. I'm gonna grab a different Glencairn. There seems to be quite, screw it. I'll go ahead and do it. I'm gonna dump all of these into one glass. It's going to, no, I can't do that. I'm gonna pour a little bit of each one of these into a separate Glencairn, because that would be absolutely tragic if the blend was horrible, and there's still quite a bit in each one of these glasses. Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano, and you are watching my channel segment called First Friday Flight Fight. If you're new here, this is basically what I do. I put together a flight of similar whiskeys. I mix them around, I taste them blind, let you know what I think of them, nose them, taste them, and then I put them in order in which I like the most. Today, September 1st, we are looking at Woodford Reserves. Bottle number 1 is going to be the standard Woodford Reserve, coming in at 90.4 proof, that's 45.2%, and this is just their standard offering, and that is going to be in glass number 1. This one's going to be labeled as Woodford Reserve, just the WR. This is my code for the bottom here. So once I get them all mixed around, I'll go ahead and put up in the very front of this board what they are so you know what I'm drinking. Bottle number 2. This is a store pick, Woodford Reserve. I kind of wanted to throw this in here to see if I can tell the difference between the regular Woodford Reserve and a store pick. This one is coming in from Total Wine & More, and 45.2%. That's going to be in glass number 2. And under here, I just have it, I believe I'm gonna put it as WRSP. Bottle number 3. No surprise here, this is going to be the Woodford Reserve Double Oak. Again, this is at 45.2% ABV. And I wanted to see how much of a difference there actually was with their Double Oak. And the code for this one, for glass number 3, is going to be WRDO, Woodford Reserve Double Oak. Now we're going to get into their specialty bottles. Bottle number 4, Woodford Reserve Historic Barrel Entry. Historic Barrel Entry, yeah, so 45.2% ABV. That is going to be in glass number 4. And on this one, I'm just going to put it as HBE, Historic Barrel Entry. And then the final bottle, bottle number 5, batch 124.7. This is going to be obviously the highest ABV, and I've run out of room. So let me get the 5th glass in here, and I'm going to just title this one for the code down below 124.7. All right, let me get this out of the way. Get the 5th and final glass in here, and then mix these things around. I had a viewer tell me that I should put these on a Lazy Susan and spin them around to help me with the actual mixing up. I don't trust myself on that. These things are top heavy, and as soon as I start spinning the Lazy Susan, I think it's gonna fall over. So I'm completely mixed up now. Let's get these things on here. Take the lids off. All right, get this thing over here a little bit, get it centered, have some room. I don't know the order yet, you do, so let's go ahead and get onto the nose. And I can tell you, I've never had Woodford Reserves lined up like this with 5 glasses. It is sweet. There is nothing but syrupy sweetness jumping out of these glasses, and it's almost a little bit overwhelming. All right, the nose on this is very soft. I would say some, oh, maybe not soft. And some caramel, that syrup sweetness. I don't want to say molasses, but it does have a thickness to it, a richness to it. It's very sweet. I don't get much spice at all. It comes across as syrupy, sugary, almost like a candy bar, a sweet milk chocolate, some leather, some tobacco. I think everything that you like in Woodford Reserve is definitely coming through on the nose. Yeah, I like the nose on this one quite a bit. Moving on to glass number 2. All right, that is very muted compared to this. All right, on that second nose, maybe swirling it a little bit has brought some stuff out. It's very similar to this one. I think I'm gonna run into that all the way through. I'm going to get basically the same nose on all of them, probably with the exception of the barrel proof one, the 124.7. Very comparable notes here. We got the chocolate, the leather, the syrup, the candy bar sweetness. There is a fruit note in both of these that is very familiar, almost like a cherry and apple note, like a dark red cherry and a dark red apple. All right, let's move on to glass number 3. All right, this one definitely is jumping out of the glass. It is these two on steroids. It is rich, it's dark, it is fruity, it is sweet. The chocolate is very rich chocolate, leather, tobacco. Yeah, this one absolutely puts these two to shame on the nose. Fantastic. And so far, it seems that all of the proofs seem to be the same. Let's move on to number 4. All right, number 4, maybe it's because I just came off of this one. There's nothing. Well, it's very subdued. In my initial guess, right off the bat, coming off of this one, maybe this one is the standard Woodford Reserve, just because of how muted it is. All of the notes are still there, but very, very muted. All right, on to number 5. Okay. I am totally confused. This smells like dusty old books. A damp attic, a musty basement, good amount of tobacco and leather. Not as sweet as the others. I don't get much syrup. There are notes of brown sugar and caramel and lighter fruit notes in here. I don't get as much darkness as I do with these 3. Still amazing on the nose, but not nearly as amazing as that. Let me go ahead and get these things on the palate and see if I can narrow it down a little bit more and let you know what I like and what I don't like, get them in order, and then call the video good. And I don't want to forget, at the very end, I am going to blend these together. All right, let's get this on the palate. All right, on the palate, that's a little bit more spicy. I get some oak, I get the barrel there, the milk chocolate notes, the toffee, the caramel, the vanilla, the brown sugar, all of those things are on the palate. This comes across as very sweet up front, followed by spice. Moving on to number 2. All right, much richer, much more oak, a lot darker, more viscosity. All the sweet notes are still there. And I think all of them are going to have the toffee, brown sugar, vanilla, caramel, tobacco, leather. They're all going to be that way. But this seems to have a little bit more barrel char or oak to it, which now makes me think that this is going to be the double oak. All right, let me get a rinse of water really quick. Move on to glass number 3. All right, glass 3. Oh man, that one smells so good. Surprise, surprise. I found the 124.7. That is loaded with flavor. Definitely got hit with a bunch of spice. I think the spice is overpowering the sweetness. A bunch of oak on there. I'm now getting a coffee note along with the milk chocolate, leather, tobacco. All those things are there. And it is in your face with the proof. Ooh, my gosh. All right. I don't think there's any question on which one that is. Oh man, that got bitter really, really fast. Spice, sweet, all of the other stuff was there. And then towards that back of that finish, turned bitter. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily like that very much. All right, number 4, very thin, very muted, standard Woodford Reserve. This one seems to be very flat, very thin. Not much to that one. Underlying sweetness, not a whole lot of spice. A little bit of cherry, definitely the milk chocolate is there. You get that syrupy molasses note as well, definitely bringing up the rear. All right, let's get to this last one and then work my way back the other way and get them in order. All right, that damp note is still coming through, almost a wet book, wet cardboard, damp cellar, damp basement, good amount of leather and oak. Subdued sweetness. I think this one is pretty much balanced with the sweet and the spice. Good amount of cherry. And again, all of those other things are there. Caramel, milk chocolate, vanilla, brown sugar, toffee, all the standard bourbon notes that you would get with a Woodford Reserve. This actually tastes like it's pretty well balanced, even though that damp cardboard, musty cellar kind of note is there. All the other layers that I'm getting as it's traveling from the front to the back of the palate seem to elevate a little bit and then go away, elevate a little bit and then go away. I do think this is well balanced. Maybe the store pick? I don't know. This is tough. I'm gonna rinse I'm gonna go back the other way. I'm just gonna speed this up based on my notes going through the first order. I don't know if anything's gonna change. The only one that I think I really know right now for 100% accuracy is this. I think this is the high proof batch 124.7. Let me rinse. I'm gonna speed this up and then I'll catch you at the end with my order. All right, pretty sure I have a decision here. There's a note that popped up in the second time through, which was cinnamon. A lot of cinnamon popped up in a lot, and maybe that would be the spice that I'm getting. But straight across the board, I would say a red apple cinnamon note is consistent with all of them. And now it's the level of those notes that are changing. So I can tell you right up front, this is going to be my last place. Everything seems to be pretty mellow and muted and watered down and thin. Even though all of the flavors are there, I'm not saying that it's bad, but of these 5, this is coming in last place. And call me crazy, second to last place is going to be the high proofer. I think the ABV, the amount of ethanol that is coming through, even though it smells absolutely amazing and it could only be, today's tasting, but for some reason, the ethanol in this is overpowering what I think is going to be a pretty good smelling whiskey, but I just can't put this above the 3 of these. By far, the nose, absolutely the best, but the nose is not matching the flavors that are coming out of here. So my third place bottle is going to be the one at the end. As far as complexity goes, this seems to be pretty balanced all the way through. I do get a little bit more musty, damp notes in here that I'm not necessarily that fond of. I don't want to say not that fond of. I like it, but compared to the others, I think this will be my third place, which narrows it down to my first and second. First and second, as I'm tasting these and that cinnamon apple note came out, I'm definitely liking this one more than this. I'm getting more of a barrel note in here, which is kind of leaning me towards what I think this is. The leather, the tobacco, the milk chocolate, the sweetness, the syrupy sweetness is balanced with the amount of oak that I'm getting. This is coming up just behind this. All of the notes are there that I like. They're elevated a little bit. It's not too proofy like this one. So I am going to say that this is going to be my first place, my second place, my third place, fourth, and then fifth. So let me go ahead and find out what my fifth place is. Well, I guess I should guess what they are first. My guess would be this is the standard Woodford Reserve, followed by the batch 124.7. I think this would be the store pick, which would mean this would be the historic barrel entry. And the only one that's left would be the double oak. So let's see how I did. My last place is the Woodford Reserve. That does not surprise me at all. I'm going to check, but I don't think I really need to. My fourth place is the Woodford Reserve batch 124.7. That doesn't surprise me at all. When I go back to this one, I'm hoping that maybe my palate is a little bit more suited for the higher proof. Even though this smells absolutely amazing on the nose, it tricked me a little bit and it's not translating to the palate. So that's what's dropping that down to fourth place. In third place, I thought this was the store pick. I think this is the store pick. I think that's what I said. Oh, it's not. This is the Woodford Reserve Historic Barrel Entry. That is surprising. I don't remember this tasting that way. But, I mean, I can't fool my palate today. That's what I'm getting. So this is dropping down to third place, which means I've got the double oak and the store pick. Now knowing this is not the store pick, this obviously has to be the store pick, and I think this has to be the double oak. So I think I did okay just to double check. Yeah, this is the Woodford Reserve Total Wine and More Store Pick, which only leaves first place to be the Woodford Reserve Double Oak. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. I do like the profile of Woodford Reserve, and this was an interesting lineup because they were so very similar in profile. Obviously, because they are Woodford Reserve, there are small little nuances in each one of these that will separate them. I enjoyed this. So let me do something here. I'm gonna grab a different Glencairn. There seems to be screw it. I'll go ahead and do it. I'm gonna dump all of these into one glass. No, I can't do that. I'm gonna pour a little bit of each one of these into a separate Glencairn because that would be absolutely tragic if the blend was horrible and there's still quite a bit in each one of these glasses. Let me grab a Glencairn from behind me and then we'll make our own little concoction here. All right. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Don't try this at home. I am a middle school science teacher. Let's see how this works. Give it a little roll in the glass. No surprise, smells like Woodford Reserve. All right, that's strange. I got a little banana in here now. The sweetness is there. That cinnamon apple spice is there. Just like everything else. The brown sugar, the vanilla, the caramel, the toffee, the tobacco, the leather. All right, let's get it on the palate. Dominated by spice, followed by some fruitiness. That is not bad at all. Actually, that is very good. I do like the amount of spice that's here. And then that sweetness is dialed up just a little bit more so than the individual components. I don't think I ever had one that tasted as sweet. And the sweet and spice is pretty level. I don't get that damp attic or wet book note. This is actually really good. I think the oak from the Double Oak is here as well. Oh, there it is. That's a little bit too bitter. All right, on that second sip. Yeah, that second sip was not as good as that first one. Definitely a lot of barrel bitterness. The ABV is still there, but the sweet and the spice is still there. I like that quite a bit, but that is too bitter on the mid to the back palate and the finish. I would not say that this would be the best blend to do, but hey, it's worth a shot. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Just go ahead and click on the little subscribe button. If you like the information, give me a like. Comment down below if you've had any of the Woodford Reserves. I know those special releases are quite expensive. The Double Oak seems to be what I'm preferring on my palate for this day. I can do this again tomorrow and come up with a completely different order. And that's just how it goes with the tasting. Depending upon what you've eaten, what you haven't eaten, your mood, what you've drank. There's a whole bunch of factors that go into tasting a whiskey on a day-to-day basis. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of these individual Woodford Reserves. If you've had them, where do they rank for you? And that's all I got. So until the next time, enjoy your journey. We'll talk to you later. Bye.